I'm Alex Lindsay from the Pixel Corps, and this is the Teardown, episode 5. Okay, here we have the State of the Union. Now, here's what I don't understand this is a perfectly good logo. Why? Why do we have this up here? Why do we have this down here? It's just too much. There's no reason to have that. It's just, you need one that you can see. You know where the camera angle is going to be. There's no good reason to do that. All right, we're going to move forward here. Now, see, look, it looks nice. It's right there. This is just messy. There's no reason for that. And the frame is probably the same every single time. Now, okay, did you see what just happened there? See that? If you missed it, right down here, look at what they're doing with the text. All right, so we're going to move forward here. Okay, they are stretching it. So this is the way the text is supposed to look, and probably squished a little bit inward. And then they are stretching it out. That's wrong. That's wrong. It's wrong. That is against so many typography rules. I mean, the fact that they're squishing it this way is not as bad enough, and then they stretch it that way. This is CNN. This is not like Channel 4 in Poughkeepsie. I mean, this is CNN, and they are stretching the text. Someone needs to talk to them. That's all I need to say. All right. Now, this isn't really technical. This is more just kind of a little inside baseball. So when you're on a show, oftentimes you want to get some tea, and you're trying to find a time when you can do that. And usually it's when the host is talking. So she's setting him up for the next subject matter. It's very transactional. You think of these as all discussions, but it's not. She's going to do a setup, and then they're going to talk, and they know generally who's going to talk first and all those bits and pieces. And so what you want to do is you want to be ready for that, and you want to have that. Note that time that you're not going to be on air so that you can get a drink, and there it is. There's nothing wrong with it. It's tea or coffee or whatever that is. It's just funny. It just gives you an opportunity. For inside baseball, he wouldn't have picked it up if he knew he was going to be on air. By the way, if I was going to have a table on national television, I would fix it, or I would get a new one. That's all I got to say there. Okay, the only thing I'm going to say here is, see these I'm going to box this in. Blue shirt, blue shirt. They're all blue. Why? Because people look better in them. Men look better in them. So when you wear a blue shirt, it makes the color on your face look better. It means we don't have to overexpose it. There's all kinds of things that are better about blue shirts. The only thing that's a little bad here is if we go into this is that is 90s. No buttons. Come on, man. You're on national television. That's all I got to say. Buttons and white. Come on. That's all I got to say. All right. Buttons and white. And I'm not a big fan of putting windows behind people because it feels a little blown out. This feels blown out right here. It just doesn't feel, you can put highlights back there, but putting a whole window back there is not the best framing, in my opinion. I did find this interesting. I've never done this before, where this is clamped on the inside of his shirt as opposed to being clamped out here. And I've not seen that. I don't have a strong opinion about it. Let me know in the comments what you think of that, because it's kind of an interesting approach to that. I'd only be concerned that there'd be more scratching, but there may not be. I just thought that was an interesting way to approach it. Just let me know what you think of that, actually. All right. Funny thing here, when you look at this, look at these binoculars. Okay, I'm going to go back. There they are. Someone framed those. That was important. When you do these interviews, you have to understand that nothing is there by accident. I mean, we've decided this table is probably from some other room. These binoculars are here because they want to. I mean, look, they put them on a book. Now, this door is open because they think it looks better. This is the way that they're setting up the frame, and it's just interesting. I don't have any answer for you. I just go, look, it's perfectly framed. They wanted those binoculars to be, somebody wanted the binoculars to be in the shot. All right. Now, the interviews on Face the Nation look like this often, and I find it interesting. So this is kind of a low key here, and then you have a low fill here. And you can see it. The best thing to do when you're looking for keys or where they are, just look at their eyes, and they'll tell you exactly where those keys are. So you can see where those keys are coming in. They're kind of low and coming both directions. And this one is particularly strong. When you do that, it ranges somewhere between dramatic and horror film. This is painfully close to horror film. Like, just a little too much uplight there. And it's a popular thing to do uplighting. Some people think it looks better. I don't think it looks better. So here we have a set that, we did this in Mac Break like 10 years ago, and because we didn't have any money. So that's what it looks like. I'm like, oh, we got a corner of I got a hallway over here. Let's just put a set in. And so that's what it kind of looks like. The other thing to look at down here is look at these lights. Now, when they go forward, you see them flickering. The reason for that typically is because you're using LED. When you turn LED down, because they're probably overexposed, when you turn them down, they don't go down. They don't become less bright. They just stop. They blink slower. And so the problem is when they start blinking less than 60 times a second, you start seeing them on the camera. And that's what my guess is and what we're seeing right there. Okay, here, there's a couple things working, and then there's a big thing that's not working. Your job, while I talk about the things that are working, is to consider the one big thing that isn't working. All right, the first thing that's working is the fact that there's one mic, not a whole bunch of mics in here. That means that they had proper stimulus control, which means they didn't give the press the ability to put all those stupid mics up there and create a big hive of stuff. That is, putting all these up here is just either lazy or you just don't know better. You should have one mic. You go back. Now, either you provide the entire frame as a press pull, which is what I would do, or you at least send this to a malt box and let the press just put XLRs in there and call it a day. Do not have all these mics up here. There's no good reason for that. I mean, you could have two mics so that you have a primary and a backup, and then you run the cables in two different directions, and you do all those things so you can make sure that you have a clean audio path. That makes sense. Having like 10 of them up here does not make sense. People are going to argue with me, but you just shouldn't do it. It's just inappropriate. When you have a planned setup like this, there's no good reason to do that. Now, the other good thing is a mic flag. Mic flags they're not expensive. You can order them. You can have them in 5 days or less, and they're like $10. And it looks very professional. This is a little SM58, and that's the right thing to use there. Now, what isn't working? Of course, all of this. Come on, it is so ugly. Step and repeat is being used because, well, we did this for the last 40 years. Just because you did it for the last 40 years doesn't mean that it's the right thing to do. Get a little creative, start having a little bit of design, make it more interesting. Look, see, I just did a little Photoshop work there. This looks nice. Now, you could make it brighter if you need to make it brighter. I understand that, but it looks nice. You can now read it. It makes him look more important. Doesn't this feel like it has more gravitas than what you had before? I just think it looks much nicer than all that gook in the background. That's just a complete lack of creativity. Anyway, that's it. We have a Patreon site, so if you're interested in hearing less about me complaining about things and more about how to do stuff, come check it out and join and come to our little. We do little live streams where we answer questions and talk tech. So come check it out. Otherwise, subscribe, tell your friends, all that stuff, and maybe I'll do another one.